All right, everybody, welcome back. Game 2 in this best of 2 DD versus I Don't Think So Tim. Tim played extremely well, executing wonderful teamfight combos, and their Bloodseeker was just a sight to behold, dominating from the very beginning of the game on. We'll see if DD are able to come back in the second game, learn from their mistakes. Their draft had a lot of potential, but the execution was a bit lacking and very difficult to begin with. So now we're in the first set of bans here. DD banning out the Winter Wyvern and the OD, while Tim banned out that Clockwork. Tinker once again banned out. Looks like we're going to get pretty much the same set of bans, although I wonder if we'll see a Bloodseeker Respect ban later on in the draft. It's something you probably don't pick. I could see them picking it second phase since they did so well with it, but I doubt we'll see it first phase. Razor also still in the pool at the moment. DD did first pick that last game. We'll see if they decide to do so again.
5 seconds. One of the heroes experienced some technical
Disruptor, though, banned out by DD, and now I Don't Think So Tim. They could ban out like Witch Doctor. They could ban out Sand King, something that DD used last game pretty well, or Jakiro, also something that was played a lot by has been played a lot by. I think most of these teams in the LD12 have used the Jakiro a lot, but DD used it very, very well. Jin was, in my opinion, their most effective player by quite a lot in that last game on that Jakiro. So if I were Tim, I would remove the Jakiro and just maybe try to get the Razor for yourself, although it is the first pick. So they could let Jakiro through and then pick Razor for themselves and see if... Or pick, what was I trying to say? Ban Razor, let Jakiro through, and try to first pick Jakiro yourselves when you get your next 2 picks. Medusa is their final ban of the game, so DD with the first pick. Razor and Jakiro still available. Here's these last time. They could change it up, go for a Witch Doctor, go for a Naga Siren. I just like that hero. So forgive me if I prattle on about Naga Sirens and Gyros and Terror Blades and Tusks, because I have a bias towards those kinds of heroes, those aggressive playmaking heroes, and DD are going to grab a Keeper of the Light for themselves. So a lot of wave clear, so good counter push. Also great in lane with heroes like Phantom Lancer. Not bad with stuff like Sven. Basically anyone, or Chaos Knight. Not bad with anyone who can just spam stuff out. Or could make aggressive plays with spammable spells. We could see DD pick like a Storm Spirit in the mid. And Tim are grabbing Night Stalker, a hero that was banned last game but not banned this game. And the good day and night cycle type of deal. However, Night Stalker makes it really hard for Coddle to actually use his Ags in team fights, because he can just, oh, we're about to team fight, don't want to deal with that that heal from the Coddle, let's just make it nighttime. So it can be pretty difficult for Coddle to capitalize his, although there's still plenty of time that he gets the usage from the daytime, although a team with Night Stalker are more likely to be active at nighttime in the first place. So we'll see how it plays out. Going to be an interesting little vision game going on. And then Tim are picking up the Witch Doctor. Another aggressive support. They've got a lot of kill potential with these 2 heroes. The Night Stalker, the Witch Doctor, a slow cast, Malediction, good right-click damage from them. DD, the Coddle, fairly vulnerable on his own, but if he's able to position back behind a strong safe laner or strong off laner, if you want to run him in the off lane, with somebody in the off lane. I am not condoning solo core Coddles. Your horses do not scale. As a result, you should not core Coddle. I'm not saying don't jungle him, but DD picking up a Vengeful Spirit, a good single target stun, nice armor shred, more good vision from them, long range way to cancel Witch Doctor ultimate. So very solid, very safe pickup, that Vengeful Spirit. And now we're in the second phase of bans. Phantom Lancer immediately banned by Tim. It goes so well with that Keeper of the Light, and their support duo very, very weak against Coddle. They have very bad wave clear unless Witch Doctor gets an Ags, which will be a long time coming. It's not something you want to have as your first item on Witch Doctor. You'd rather get like a Force, a Glimmer, Arcane Boost, maybe an Aether Lens. These more utility, survivability style items to help you position and provide more survivability to your own team. And now DD banning out the Viper.
Radiant team
And Anti-Mage
ban.
once again banned out by Tim. So we'll see what DD decide to ban out
Dire
last.
team pick.
Storm Spirit actually removed, something I think would have actually been pretty good for them, although it's also really good with Night Stalker. Storm Spirit is just really good with heroes that give him vision. Any hero that lets him see people is just suddenly he's on you. Like Bounty Hunter is
Radiant
great with
team
Storm. And Tide Hunter once again picked up by Tim, and their team fight combo looking lethal. Kind of surprised to see that Tide Hunter slip through again as they play, even though Nadiak died a lot in his lane, he had huge ravages. The 2 or 3 ravages I saw him use in team fights were high
10
impact
seconds
ravages,
remaining.
so I am not surprised to see them grab it again. Again, very, very safe.
5 seconds
Not
remaining.
amazing against Coddle. The Mana Leak going to be really painful for him. The Coddle Blast, of course, Illuminate going to be also really difficult as he's only very good against physical harass. But DD last time ran their safe laner in they ran their safe lane in the off lane, so we'll see if it's a 1v1 for the Tide, and I think DD might be setting up for a tri lane. You can really throw out a lot of magic missiles with the Coddle. Even though PL is gone, there's other cores that can do stuff with that extra mana. Gyro and Luna are the 2 big ones that come into mind for me for spammable spells. Even stuff like Sven or Chaos Knight, you can just throw out lots of stuns, reality
Dire
rifts.
team pick.
And they're going to go for an Invoker, though, in the mid. They do not have a ton of huge setup for Sunstrike yet, but we could see it could be a Quas Wex Invoker. But I suspect Wexort Invoker, or not Wexort, Quas Exort. Wexort has, not existed in 1,000 years.
10 seconds remaining.
Just lanes really badly.
5 seconds remaining.
And now waiting for their 4th pick is Tim. They have their off lane, they have their supports, possibly could run Night Stalker mid. Dangerous against Invoker, because it's either a lane he can win or a lane that he can't, a lane that he can win pretty easily, or a lane that he can just never win. Quas Exor is so hard to lane against. Quas Wex is pretty annoying, but not impossible.
Radiant team pick.
But they're going to get something that lanes really well, and in the form of that Dragon Knight. Not as exciting, perhaps, as a Bloodseeker, but Kruger, if he plays half as well on this Dragon Knight as he did on the Bloodseeker, then DD could be in serious trouble. Invoker, though, lots of fancy
10
feet,
seconds
flash he
remaining.
plays. We'll see how many fighting games he plays with those wacky combos, all those butt
5
impresses coming
seconds
out
remaining.
from, I imagine, Itachi on the
Dire
Invoker.
team
And
banned.
DD are going to end this with the Slark pick. Very interesting. The Dark Pact is looking very, very tasty this game, though, against the Ravage, against the Dragon Knight stun, even the Witch Doctor. Slightly less the Witch Doctor because of the how the cast can hit you more than once.
10 seconds remaining.
But this is an interesting game for a Slark. If they have the leash
5
is now their
seconds
Sunstrike
remaining.
setup, I believe, and then they have a follow-up stun with the Magic Missile. So lots of kill potential on this Tide Hunter. Tide Hunter, though, pretty good against Slark. The Anchor Smash kind of ruins him, but the Essence Steal. I don't know why. I don't know exactly what it is, but Slark's E ability, the one
10
that steals
seconds
stats,
remaining.
pretty good against these tanky heroes. So we'll see how it goes. Then Slark,
5
great at
seconds
fighting in these
remaining.
sustained battles, but neither team has a ton of burst, but a lot of sustained damage on both sides, although DD do have pretty respectable burst with that Invoker and potentially the Coddle and Venge. So we'll see how they end up playing it out. An extended engagement, Slark is
Radiant
very,
team
very
pick.
strong. Bloodseeker banned out by DAD and Enigma banned out by Tim. I guess the Tim could have picked up Blood. And Enigma, looking again for the offlane, it seems, is DD. Sand King still in the pool. They could run that in the offlane. Puck still available. Beastmaster. They have their
10
options.
seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
But in the end, they go for a Necrophos. Very greedy. This again says to me they're going to run the aggro try again. Up against the enemy safe. But this time, Witch Doctor, Night Stalker, Slark, and Chaos
Choose
Knight.
wisely.
Witch Doctor, Night Stalker, and Chaos Knight versus Slark, Venge, Coddle? Even on paper, that sounds so hard for DD to win. So it'll be Adifex versus Tide again. A much easier lane, I suppose, for the Nadiak this time, as the Anchor Smash and the Kraken Shell just kind of mess up Slark's day. Anchor Smash especially. He He has pretty decent spells, though. The Dark Pact damage is pretty good, but needs to be careful not to get killed off by an Anchor Smash plus a Gush. This second game, an interesting draft coming out from DD, and Tim looking pretty reliable, pretty sturdy. Once again, very tanky on their heroes, but Necrophos can turn that right against you. So we'll see once again which team comes out on top. DD showed so much potential in that first game, but Tim looking solid, able to rebound from pretty rough lanes and dominate in the mid and late game, and we'll see if they're able to do so once again. Again, this is the last game, best of 2. Doh Duh versus I don't think so Tim on the side of the Radiant. Anasun playing the Necrophos. Invoker being played by Itachi, throwing out that Sunstrike into the enemy base. Slark being played by Adifex, going again to 1v1 in that offlane. Jin playing the Vengeful Spirit. Nicklet playing the Keeper of the Light. And then on the other side of the map, we have Young Mouse playing Chaos Knight. Krugerrand on the Dragon Knight. Tidehunter being played once again by Nadiak on an encore performance. Gallo13, who played great on that Spirit Breaker, picking up the Witch Doctor, and then the Night Stalker banned out last game, but picked up right away this game. Dustfinger X. We'll see if once again the Dire go for the enemy bounty runes. They did last time. I think they can easily do so again this time. Interesting to me that DD do the same strategy twice. I think the second that the second that Tim pick up on the fact that, oh, this is a solo Slark, and that means we're leaning against the Necro, the Coddle, the Venge, and they have a lot of sustain though this time, since the Coddle can give Necro mana to Death Pulse. So the Death Pulse heal not huge. They're throwing out the Wave of Terror. The Blast coming in too. Looks like they are giving this up. Both teams going to be snagging 2 bounty runes.
To the field of glory.
I'll take that.
So both sides just getting 2. Last game it was 3 for the Dire. So Soul Ring going to be Kruger's first item, giving him a lot of regen. It looks like this is going to be a, wrong hero. This is going to be a Quas Exort Invoker, most likely. It could be Wex Exort, but without Quas, his crowd control it's basically not there. And I think that's one of the best parts of the Invoker, is getting that CC.
Nay.
So a lot of damage on the Invoker, but we'll see if he's able to keep it up against this Dragon Knight. His wave already pushing far into the tower. So DK going to try to get these last hits as best as he can. So doing just fine, and then the bot lane looks like they're running 2 heroes up against the Slark in a 2-1-2 situation coming out. They want to. I like this, even though it's going to be hard for them to tri-lane to deal with the tri-lane up here, especially for Young Mouse. Going to really struggle to get farm, and Coddle Keeper or Chaos Knight, not a hero that plays well from behind. He's going to be forced to use so much of his regen already. Jin throwing out those Wave of Terrors to harass. And then the Coddle Blast, of course, coming in as well. Young Mouse, he doesn't have a salve, and if he did, it got burned. So things are looking very bad in this safe lane. And unlike, but Adifex not having a much better time than this Chaos Knight. Adifex, though, does have that salve. Witch Doctor heal, able to help a little bit. Has 5 more tangos as well. And Coddle, though so low on mana, he can't throw out that next blast. But the Wave of Terror, not a very mana-intensive spell. Revenge also backing off, pulling the creep wave around, has their Wind Lace. So Young Mouse should be able to get the occasional CS here, but it's very difficult for him.
This sustains. Gold remains.
Coddle now has the mana to blast, but Young Mouse just looking for him in here. He's walking right alongside him. I don't think he should stun him. Should probably back off, actually. Wave of Terror coming out. They have Magic Missile. No, they don't. They have the Aura instead. And Young Mouse should be able to outrun this Coddle Blast. The cast going to advance around. Interesting to not pick up the Magic Missile, although it looks like they just want to bully this Chaos Knight. Meanwhile, the mid going very well for the Dragon Knight. Kruger just outplaying Itachi, it seems. His Soul Ring done. Speaking of done Soul Rings, it looks like Tidehunter has completed his as well. So things looking not awesome for the Dire, but going a lot better than I thought they would be. An appropriate response at this bot lane to this Slark to Adifex soloing against Tide and Night Stalkers, just have Night Stalker hang out down here. Oh, lots of damage on a Young Mouse. He still has 3 tangos, and of course, Voodoo Restoration picked up by Witch Doctor instead of the usual level 2 Maledict. Just because he's taking so much harass damage, and it looks like that Coddle Blast will connect onto Young Mouse. And the Voodoo Restoration really the only thing keeping him healthy. Wave of Terror just being vomited out over and over again. The Courier being spotted. I don't know if she can kill it. She might be able to. No, it's too tanky. So this top lane, very interesting. But Adifex, speaking of interesting things happening, he's getting very low. 2 seconds until Void comes up. This could be the end of him. He's going to get... Oh, but the vision just ends, and he turns it around and gets the kill. But First Blood actually going the way of Dustfinger, but the Sunstrike does manage to connect. 2 for 1, favoring DD. DD going to be super happy with that, although First Blood going to Night Stalker, he should be okay with it. 2 points on Hunter in the night now. But Invoker will help him catch up a little bit there, that kill. However, Kruger still looking pretty strong. 10 last hits and a few denies over this Invoker. And now with the 2 points in the Dragon Blood and the 3 in Breathe Fire, it's going to be difficult to hold on against him. Like, he can't really harass him. You can, but you can't. And, you know, 9 health regen, 3 clarities, a Fairy Fire, Breathe Fire reduces your damage. Regen picked up by the Coddle. It's like level 4 though on this Chaos Knight. This is the one weakness of this tri-lane, or it's more than one. But the greatest weakness that this Chaos Knight, he's being denied some farm, but now that he's comfortable, now that he's higher level, and there's only 1 or 2 points in these spells from the Radiant, he can still fight. And oh, the Magic Missile coming out, he should be okay. Just going to back off. 2 points in the Voodoo Restoration picked up by Gallo. It does stifle the aggressive potential of that Witch Doctor a bit, but I like the choice and now go forward from the Night Stalker. Just throws out that Void onto Itachi, but he's going to be fine. And Slark just getting bullied away by this Tidehunter. Needs to be careful. Has such long night vision. Oh, but he might actually get killed. There's a Gush. Slowing him up. The Anchor Smash. No, it's enough damage. Natiak solo kills that Slark.
Gone out.
A really bad lane for Slark to be in. And this tri-lane isn't really paying off either. DD trying that same strategy again, and it worked well last game in the lanes, except for the mid, because of course it doesn't really impact how the mid gets played. But their aggro try worked pretty well last game. They got several kills, and the offlaner just got massacred. But this game, it's not going to work twice. They are consciously aware of the fact that this is what's going on. And oh, Necrophos, Anna. He's a little bit far back, and fortunately for him, Dust went in onto the Coddle instead of himself. The cast going to come forward, though. They do have Maledict, but not enough mana to do so. Now he pops his wand, the stun coming out as well from the Chaos Knight, and that's a dead Necrophos. Young Mouse finds that kill, and Night Stalker making the most out of his first night. Breathe Fire Harass, bothering this Invoker, lowering his damage by quite a bit. Tidehunter getting both bounty runes as well will help him catch up a lot. There's an arcane rune at the bot. It looks like a dive from this Night Stalker. He is just going to dodge away though. He's out of mana. Pops a clarity, has some infused raindrops, and Young Mouse level 5 and 28 CS. He was getting denied very badly at the beginning, but now it's just a rank 1 Coddle Blast. He's fine with it. He's so tanky, has 1100 HP and 6 armor, 4 health regen, and of course the Voodoo Restoration as well. But over time will tick him down. However, Coddle going to be forced to use his Chakra Magic on himself. Does get the second rank in it, of course, so that he can freely use this. And now trying to right-click Young Mouse, but Vengeful Spirit nowhere to be seen just yet. Trying to stack camps for the Necrophos, I imagine. And of course, the support bounty from the stacked camps as well. Always pleasant. Always a nice little bit. Always nice to hear that little tinkling noise, the dinkling of gold.
Denied.
But the lanes are not looking great for DD. Itachi doing fine, keeping up in levels, but very far behind on farm. Yeah, 16 CS is a pretty significant difference. And even though there's a tri-lane up against him, Mouse finding the farm that he needs, the Magic Missile comes out forward, they're trying to get him low, the cast's gonna bounce around, but they just don't have the damage. Especially with that Voodoo Restoration ticking, he's just fine. Wave of Terror from Jin trying to harass as much as he can, but these supports are very under-leveled. The Witch Doctor at level 4, almost 5, and at the bottom going in onto Slark. Slark does have his ult, but he doesn't get it off in time. The Shadow Dance doesn't come out as he is silenced before he can even Dark Pact, and then the Ravage on top to ensure that they find that kill. Witch Doctor following these enemy supports. He's not afraid at all of these two. Necrophos not level 6. If he were level 6, he could find a kill on Mouse for sure. And Mouse gonna sustain thanks to the built-in lifesteal from the crit. And Anna just trying to beat up Gallo a little bit. But it doesn't feel like DD are getting much out of these lanes at all. They got those first 2 kills at bot, but now they're starting to struggle. There's a 4k gold lead favoring the Dire at just 8 minutes. And now Night Stalker lurking in the mid. I don't know if he can get a dive. It is daytime, but no points in Wex means no Ghost Walk. And it looks like he's just going to back off. It looks like Itachi or Young Mouse trying to find Nicklet. Nicklet very, very low. Magic Missile, not enough mana for it. He's very fast. So is his Keeper, 400 move speed. And the Chaos Bolt finishes him. And now the cast coming out onto one. Invoker is here now, but I don't know if there's much he can do. The cast doesn't bounce anymore. He's trying to get that Reality Rift off. Pulls back the Venge. Does a lot of damage. He's got minus armor, and a couple more right clicks will do the trick, but a nice heal coming forward, although a Breathe Fire should finish her off. Oh, the Infused Raindrops save her some time, but a right click and Dragon Form kills her. A hard commit, but they may be able to turn this into a push. This is why the Illuminate coming out, but not going to do anything. And with the Dragon Form, they may push towards the top tower. They have Witch Doctor's Cask back. They have Phantasm. That was not committed. Keeper of the Light actually missing with that blast, but it will be up in just a second, and he did conquer himself to keep himself pretty high up on the mana, keep himself fueled up, and I don't think they care that much though. The creep wave relatively healthy again, just a rank 1, and they get Fortification forced out. No one's in mid. Invoker also not in the neighborhood. He's just trying to farm up the stack. Looks like they want this tower. The Dragon Form ending fairly soon though. He's going to be going for that armlet. But it looks like the Radiant will be able to make this defense happen. They don't really have any hard engage unless the Chaos Knight grabs somebody with a Reality Rift. And if he does, they're dead. They are basically just dead. It looks like Dragon Form ended. DK grabbing a TP scroll and just going back to his mid lane to keep himself far. Meanwhile, Itachi relegated to the jungle. So Kruger is ahead of him for now, but that Midas will help him catch up. We're looking at the overall net worth. We see Dragon Knight, then Tide Hunter, then Invoker tied with the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight had a very rough lane and not a good jungling hero, but Slark is struggling in this game. He is level 8. He's getting his levels, but it's like he's just finishing. What's that on the Crow? Maybe his... Oh, Witch Doctor getting pretty low. Fine for now. Pops the Voodoo Restoration. And Young Mouse right-clicked a bit, bullied down a bit, and Gallo almost level 6. That means the Death Ward will be available. They have Magic Missile to cancel it, but going to need to be careful not to get Reality Rifted into it. Just trying to get the minus armor onto the CK, but he is a very, very tanky guy. Gallo hanging far back. Night Stalker level 5 as well. Tide Hunter to level 9 with a hood completed. Going to go for a pipe for his team. Great against the Necrophos and Invoker. Good itemization coming out from this Tide Hunter from Nadiag. But again, they wasted a lot of time up at top trying to shove. And Gallo very, very low. It looks like they may find a kill up here if he's not cautious. But now Chaos Knight just barely pulling ahead of this Invoker. Looks like they'll be going back and forth for a while. Kruger, the level 10, getting his mana regen means that's more Breathe Fires to deal with. Up at top, it looks like they're trying to get somebody. Young Mouse trying to chase Anna. Anna getting hit by that Malediction. He's pretty low though, but they don't have a Magic Missile. It's up cooldown in just 1 second. The Maledict ticking, but it's only a rank 1 Maledict, so it's not going to do anything. Magic Missile flies out onto Mouse, but he's too tanky, and there's no mana on either of these heroes, so he's going to just walk it right off, but Anna did as well. So neither team able to find any kills. Witch Doctor did not commit that Death Ward, completely out of mana. One more last hit gets him his Arcane Boots, but we'll see how that ends up going. But it looks like Slark has kind of abandoned his lane. Adifex forced back, has just finished his Ring of Aquila at 12 minutes, only 2k. He's a 1.4k behind the next closest enemy, and 3k almost behind the Dragon Knight, who looks like he may be able to snag this tower. Itachi winding up with that Cold Snap, but The Dragon Knight will just back off. So Vengeful Spirit rotating in means there's no hard stuns up at the top lane. Which means there's no way to cancel the Witch Doctor ult unless they commit the Necro ult, and he's not level 6 yet. Looks like we do have a brief pause coming out. Things are, like, looking at this net worth graph, it's really not good for DD. 6k in favor of the Dire at just 13 minutes. DD don't have a crazy teamfight combo like they did last time. XP also favoring Tim as their supports are, instead of in a tri-lane situation, they're in several dual lanes. They have their ults again in before the opposition, although this time perhaps the Night Stalker ult not as big a deal as like what was it? The big one. I guess what I'm saying is it's not as high priority. Like Death Ward isn't as big as Nether Strike or Shaman Wards, or sorry, Darkness isn't as good as Nether Strike or Shaman Wards. But still provides them vision superiority, allowing them to claim fights. Great against Slark to deny him his advanced night vision that he has, but it looks like they may make a play onto Itachi in the mid. Cold Snap is lined up, but they are just TPing Dust up top. They might try to make a play here. They do have the Arcane Boots done, so he could cast, but they're charging up an Illuminate. 2 ranks in that. Jhin now coming up as well. Gallo taking a lot of damage. Wave of Terror spots out this Night Stalker, so they should know that they're in trouble, or that they don't want to fight at the moment. But he's just lurking around, and no, might go for him. Pops the silence onto the Venge. Venge gets gone on. They do have the Illuminate Blast coming in, but again, no stuns, but no one else is there. He's just solo able to bully back. A Magic Missile could have come out, or if they Magic Missile him, I think that's kind of what he wants. I think they want him to engage on him, as they don't have 6 on the Necro, so they could get gone on, stunned up, killed off by the Reality Rift pretty quickly. But again, the sustain from this Witch Doctor kind of nullifying a bit of this harass, especially if no one gets hit by this Illuminator. Jump back, the stun coming out as well, 2 seconds. The Void as well, shifts the Trouble. The Death Ward coming out, getting Necrophos very, very low. Jhin going to go down to a right click, actually to the Death Ward, and Dustfinger going to tank up that tower. Wants to find him, but this Death Pulse saves Anna, but a stun comes out. 3 seconds onto the Keeper of the Light. The cast now bouncing between the two. The Necro ult not doing enough damage to Reality Rift. He's still alive. The Death Pulse is chasing him. He needs to Armlet Toggle. He does, and just turns his attention towards Anna. Anna now getting stunned up. He needs to Armlet Toggle again, but actually does it at the exact wrong time, so the creeps kill him off. And it looks like they lose 2, and it's a triple kill for Anna. They greatly overextended there. They got both the supports, but definitely not worth it. Chaos Knight and Witch Doctor just didn't really have a ton of mana. And he Armlet Toggled while he was tanking creeps, which meant he went to 1 health, and all it took was 1 more creep hit, and he dies. So in a great fight for the Radiant, a fight that they so desperately needed, but they're still behind on net worth on all of their cores, except that Invoker is doing okay. Chaos Knight, the Reality Rift back onto Jhin, is stunned just 1 second this time. The Infused Range up, saving him. The Phantasm coming out now, though, with Night Stalker coming against it slow onto Jhin. Jhin getting Reality Rift and a ton of damage from those illusions. They might try to find this. If they have Void, they couldn't stun him, but dude, the cast comes down, it doesn't. He's able to get away. They didn't have Void, they didn't have Chaos Bolt. Reality Rift doesn't cancel TPs, I believe, and now they have Night. They brought the Tidehunter up here with the Pipe of Insight. It's actually pretty nice because it does have the regen aura on top as well as the magic resist. So they're trying to make a play onto this tower. They see Nick and they really don't care, not with the Tide around. CK Illusions still alive, but just for a second longer. He got lucky there too with that. He got the 2 illusions instead of just the 1. Tons of damage. Now they see 1, the Forge Spirits getting stunned up. The Ravage does connect onto 3 heroes, 4 heroes actually. Nope, just 3, but it looks like they already listening Invoker to the Dragon Knight, and now Nadiak going in for more. Venge dies as well. Nicolette getting stunned up by the Castle. The Death will committed just for good measure, but it's unnecessary. They find those 3 heroes incredibly fast, and it's likely they'll find more in the form of this tier 1 tower, and they may lose their tier 1 at bot, but they're probably okay with that. Slark Artifacts starting to get some more farm, but still struggling very badly in this game. An immediate TP from the Chaos Knight, but the tower is destroyed, and looks like CK canceled once that tower went down. Realized there was no backup, he could get caught in a bad place. But are they going to continue this for tier 2? They don't have a dragon form up. Actually, oh, I lied. I just just looked at the little gem, but with that Dragon Form, they can pretty easily kill this. They have the health regen from the Witch Doctor, from the Pipe of Insight as well. They're charging up an Illuminate. It is rank 3. They do have a Pipe if he times it, but doesn't use it just yet, and they're just going to keep pushing. Now they've popped that Pipe. That shield lasts quite a while, so this next Illuminate. Oh, they're jumping forward, trying to get this done. Nice execution from Ana, but the Pipe saves Night Stalker, and now an Urn coming out as well. The Sunstrike does not latch on Dustfinger. So this Pipe paying off already from this Tidehunter, and it's going to make fights very, very difficult for them, as there's so much magic damage on their side. The Coddle, the Necrophos, most of the Invoker does have a little bit of right click, a little bit of pure damage as well. Things are not looking too great. However, some signs of life here, but the AK gold lead in favor of Tim, really rough. But they are great at pickoffs, and again, these engagements aren't going to be very bursty. They're going to be these extended engagements that Slark really thrives in. He just needs to get his Shadow Blade, and he can start prowling around the map, picking off these supports, especially that Witch Doctor will be pretty hard to kill off the Night Stalker. Actually, he's very, very tanky, and I don't think you can kill the Dragon Knight either. So not a ton of actual individual pickups for the Slark, but with help from his teammates, he can kill off these bigger targets, especially the Necrophos. But a Shadow Blade down on the DK means he's going to be able to get those Dragon Tail engagements very, very easily. Cause a lot of problems, especially for the Slark. Slark needs to time that Dark Pact before he gets spotted.
Gold for me.
They're lurking back. Dustfinger's going to get spotted by these creeps. They should know that everyone's there, and it looks like the Radiant perhaps are rotating in that direction. As this last tier 1 tower is the target for the Dire, and they're positioning their supports both behind. Blink Dagger just bought in the side shot from that Tidehunter. Ravage is available from him as well, meaning he can jump in, get a bunch of heroes really, really easily. This is pretty quick from him actually to get a Pipe and a Blink, so in just 18 minutes he's at the second on the net worth, and there's no way DD go for this.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Nadiak now TPing into the mid. He does have that Blink Ravage available. Hasn't popped it just yet. Maybe wants to wait for a teammate to come in. Gets the gush onto Ana. Chakra Magic coming out. Has his heal. Throws it out. A nice Ravage coming in. It looks like with his teammates in the rotation, they're trying to get something, but it looks like he popped it a little bit early. Magic Missile flies out, but it gets broken by the Kraken Shell. And a bit of a throwaway Ravage, in my opinion. He didn't really have any follow-up at all, but perhaps just wanted to create space for this bot tier 2 fight. Try to claim this. And it looks like they will be able to do that, but that's no Ravage for about a little over 2 minutes. They do claim that tier 2 tower, and now Shadow Blade popped by Kruger. If anyone wanders into the jungle at the wrong time, they could get killed off. A 4-step on Ana will keep him safe if he's able to spot the enemy heroes. A jump forward to Gush out onto Ana. The stun not going to last, but Dragon Bat will finish him off. And another pick could transition into another tier 2. However, the Dragon Form did end, so the tower push much slower. But a creep wave is coming in, and it looks like Adifex on this Slark just trying to get the farm going. He's got his Shadow Blade done, got level 10, so he got that agility. But things are... he's still so far behind. He has the highest farm carry on his team, though. For this Dragon Knight, 10k net worth. And a 9k lead for the team overall. There is no mech on the Tide this time, but the Voodoo Restoration keeping everyone fairly comfortable. The Tide has the Pipe available as well. The Illuminate Blast going to latch onto 3 of these heroes, but just as they're disengaging, oh, he might get swapped. He really didn't want to be there, get swapped, and now Young Mouse, really greedy, tried to pop that, and now gets top of the Necro. Very, I would go so far as to say bad to TP right there, so close to the enemy heroes when they have several long-range catches, and it's not like they can't kill you, especially when your team is already backed off. You had no Tide Ravage. You did have a Death Ward, I suppose. Dragon Form just coming back up. Sticking around there. Very poor decision from that Chaos Knight. So a little bit of a payday, a little bit of a welfare check, so to speak, going the way of DD.
Dire's middle tower is
Spirit Vessel soon completed for this Night Stalker, but looking at the Radiant heroes, who I haven't spent a ton of time looking at, looks like Veil of Discord just about picked up by this Necrophos. Meanwhile, the Aghanim Scepter on the way for that Invoker as well. Slark closing in on his first Oblivion Staff, wants to grab himself an Orchid. Vengeful Spirit trying to get a 4-step, it still has a ways to go, and Keeper of the Light. Also trying to get that Ags and pretty close to it as well. The point booster only about 1,000 gold away, which will greatly increase his effectiveness. But in terms of levels, things are turning up pretty dire. However, the Slark is the top of the net worth. He's been kind of alone for a lot of it to get his second talent. That 30 attacks and finds that Witch Doctor, the easy pick, the one pick that he can really easily grab, and finds it very quickly. Witch Doctor with this ward here, able to spot enemies, but does miss it. Oh, Kruger gets the stun out onto this bench. Bench has a haste rune, though. They need to kill her very, very quickly. The Void doing a lot of damage, and Breathe Fire finishes her off. Her Infused Raindrops, I believe that was the last. Nope, she bought a second set, because she has had that a while. But now only 8k in favor of the Dire, so DD are starting to stabilize a little bit, but with the Venge Dead and the Dragon form going, it looks like they're turning their attention to Roshan, and Echo Saber completed on this Chaos Knight as well. And the Radiant should know this is happening. They also have a Sunstrike to scout it if they want, but Invoker pressuring this bot tier 2 should be able to get it pretty easily. Has his Forge Spirit, has the Catapult, and looks like they managed to grab that, but it looks like we'll have to trade away this objective. The Sunstrike coming in, the damage is split between all these allies. The Voodoo Restoration keeping them healthy. Invoker does have Tornado. It's pretty long range. Doesn't throw it out just yet. The Ravage, though, connects onto several heroes. 2 heroes down up here in the bot lane. Nicklet getting both the Gush already used, and they're trying to pursue further. Wave of Terror coming out. Anna getting slowed up. Silence. Now Slark in the back lane finds the Witch Doctor. And now the Spirit Vessel coming out from this guy getting Anna. Anna's just barely going to survive with that, thanks to the Death Pulse will heal up. So they actually kill 2. And, oh, like, they get nothing. They just get the Roshan on Tim, so an excellent contest. Although they didn't get the Aegis, they didn't lose any heroes. In fact, they got 2 heroes. Slark able to get a nice pick in that backline, something I'm sure we'll see happen again and again. Witch Doctor likely going to have to go for a Ghost Scepter. And this is a really greedy push forward. The Veil coming out, a stun as well. Magic Missile flying forward, the slow, and now Slark going in onto one. Itachi getting very, very low himself. Will they be able to get Young Mouse? They do. The Dragon Breath, the Dual Breath, comes out. They do get the Invoker, but there's no blink on this guy. He has no Shadow Blade either. Invoker buying back too. That perhaps makes things a little bit less worthwhile. Gets the Sunstrike off, but actually doesn't hit in the first place. Kruger trying to run away, but flop back, and Anna finding a double kill, and now a dominating streak for this Necrophos. And suddenly their gold lead, it would have been a bit more gold in their favor, but DD showing that they still have some fight left in them, and the over-aggression and the very greedy play, pushing up high ground with 2 heroes against 5. I'm not sure why they would consider doing that. It's just maybe if you're both at like 20k net worth at 24 minutes, you know, something stupid like that. And now they get the silence onto the Slark. They don't have detection for him, though. And now a TP coming in from CK. They do lose their tier 2 tower. Anna Sun, though, gets spotted out. They have a Chaos Bolt coming forward. The Death Bolt coming out as well. And looks like they lose that Necro very, very fast. The Shadow Wave coming for the Shadow Dance. And now the Pulse coming out from the Invoker. And a lot of damage coming out onto Adifex from that Death Word. It's more like chip damage, really. But the EMP actually killing off the Night Stalker. Now Nadiak could be in trouble. The Meteor rolling forward, not going to come out, but the cast will bounce around it just a little bit. They're getting Young Mouse very, very low. A double kill for this Chaos Knight. Slark still alive in this fight, and Wave of Terror actually finishes off the Chaos Knight, and now jump forward on Nadiak, a double kill for Itachi, and it looks like they're going to find Gallo as well, and it's a killing spree for Adifex, and Kruger is just to watch from the shadows as his team dies. He goes on to this Vengeful Spirit, but I don't know if that's a good play. She has the Magic Missile, she has Wave of Terror, and he's getting very, very low, and he's not able to find her. She just turns around and gets him with that last hit. And suddenly, that gold lead, that almost 10k, that pretty much exactly 10k gold lead that the Dire had, it's gone. And now a heal coming out from Nicklet thanks to that Illuminate, and Adifex just diving in, unafraid completely. Jumps forward, doesn't manage to get the connection, but with the SSD is able to get him low. This heal coming forward from Keeper of the Light, 37 stacks stolen on Essence Shift. And now Ravage coming out, committed, forced out, but the Dark Pact keeping him up for now. He has no Shadow Dance. Silence does have a Shadow Blade, though. No dust, no anything. And they can't punish the Slark from diving so deep. That forced out the Ravage, that forced out buybacks. And now suddenly the Dire are going to be playing on the back foot for a while. Slark now second highest on the net worth with an Orchid Malevolence completed. Likely to go for eventually a Bloodthorn. Could go for BKB first, might be good. Although there's a lot of physical damage so may not be his item of choice. Chaos Knight going for a Heart of Trash, trying to tank up, and damn does he need it, taking so much damage so quickly from these guys it seems. And Nicolette just keeping his team healthy. This Wave of Terrors, once he gets 15, probably getting the Wave of Terror cooldown talent. I don't see why he'd get the agility in this game. And that's a pretty hefty amount of damage, 120 magic damage every 4 seconds. Pretty good. Slark now with a haste, could be looking for something, has the Shadow Blade, does pop it, wants to find this Chaos Knight, he's feeling bold, could definitely kill him. And Young Mouse hiding in the tree line. There is a scan from the Radiant, but they're not going to pop it, and Slark just going to farm the wave. They're now at the top of the net worth is this Slark, and we'll see if they're able to keep up. Anna getting gone on by 2. He has his Blade Mail, but it doesn't matter. He pops it just at the end of his lifespan, and he gets killed off. A nice pick for Kruger, but the Radiant coming back with great patience and creating a lot of space, and quite frankly, some pretty bad decisions made by the Dire. Going up high ground, 2v5. That was probably the where it really turned, and CK has a TP. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he wants to do this. I don't know why he's here, but the Slark isn't in the neighborhood. He does have a stun, throws it onto Nick. Nick does have his blind available, but a disarm coming out from the Invoker. He pops his ult. Now the Impale coming out, or the EMP coming out as well. Drains some mana, but not actually getting that. Now Itachi himself in serious trouble. That's actually a much bigger kill for him to find. He saves his teammate, but costs himself. And Slark in the backline. They get the Reality Rift onto another one. They find another one, but Gallo getting low. Tries to get safe, but is not able to. Now the Shadow Blade, the Shadow Dance, I should say, coming out. They see him, though. They do have to avoid the Reality coming in. Adifex now making really bad choices himself, and a triple kill for Mouse. And suddenly the gold swing coming back in favor of Tim. Both teams kind of making questionable decisions. I get it, though. You suddenly have this momentum. You feel really strong. You overestimate yourself. Like, you win 2 team fights, and you're like, you know what, I'm invincible. I'm a god. And then you just go and you go into these fights like that. Like, Slark, Adifex really shouldn't have attempted that dive. Yes, he's pretty much guaranteed to kill the Witch Doctor. Is that worth it? No, because he's pretty much guaranteed to die immediately after. These other heroes are very, very tanky, very hard for him to kill unless he has his team surrounding him. And yeah, Dark Pact will save you from a stun, but they have many stuns, many slows, lots of tools. Now they turn their attention to their first tier 3 fortification available, though, and a Ravage connects onto 4 heroes. A beautiful Ravage, and now Reality catches onto 1. It looks like they're chunking out that Invoker. Itachi gonna go down. They didn't get anything else about that Ravager. They got 1 big kill. Spirit Vessel onto Jin. The Illuminate Blast coming forward, trying to delay this push, but it's just gonna keep going. There's no buyback on him. They see that their 2 cores, their 2 strongest cores, are down. And it's not looking great. The Dragon Form is now popped with the Rax exposed. Fortification is available. They've already lost 1 Rax, and the melee Rax even. Are they looking for more? Reality Rift is up, but they are going to back off, go turn their attention to objective gaming, or they're just going to back, because Slark is back, and they're a little bit nervous around him, it seems. Interesting that they didn't get this, but you know what they can get? They can get Shrines. I would be surprised to see them not get the Shrine. Now Dust Spot on this Witch Doctor and on the Night Stalker as well. They'll be able to pick up that Slark when he tries to Shadow Blade sneak away, or Itachi. Speaking of Slark, he's in the Shadow Blade looking for something. Could spot Dust, goes in onto Dust, gets the break onto him, but they spotted him, and now the Death will committed just to deter him. And they will get the Shrine. Death will cool down short enough that that's okay. Slark, really hard for him to kill anybody not the Witch Doctor, quite frankly. Like, he has 20 armor. There's Kraken Shell plus 14 armor. Dragon Knight, 28 armor. Chaos Knight, 15, and 2,900 health. So again, a difficult game for a pick-off hero like a Slark, but oh, we might find somebody now. He gets the latch, actually connects it this time. A nice Glimmer Cape coming forward, pops the Dust himself, and now they're trying to pull the Slark back. Gallo getting caught in that tornado, and Slark getting pulled away, and the Shrine popped, so Destructor will live, perhaps pulling that Slark away. Not the play, as he probably could have got that kill, but may have been turned on, so we'll see if that's probably fine. They did force out getting the Shrine. 300 health talent picked up now on the Necrophos. Witch Doctor likely to get the GPM when he gets that level, but let's look at this Chaos Knight. He's pretty interesting, and oh, are they... I swear I heard that recalling noise. 15 strength picked up by CK. Heart of Trask done on him. Very, very tanky. Dust popped. Slark running forward with the Shadow Blade. They see this Night Stalker. They want to get on him. They go immediately. They pop the Magic Missile onto him. And Gush coming forward, and Witch Doctor very, very low. Might actually die to that Orchid damage. Does manage to survive, but gets swapped back immediately. Doesn't have his Glimmer and gets killed off. Adamex finding himself a double kill. There is Ravage up in 1 second. Catches on all 5 heroes. They go on the Slark. Slark getting very, very low. The Anchor smashing on the one right. Who will do the trick? A nice Illuminate, but it's a little bit too late and won't heal anyway because it's nighttime. The Necrophos just for the stun, and now Reality are pulling back Anna. Anna getting destroyed. A beautiful Ravage from Natiak. Will they be able to find any more? They're continuing their pursuit. The Tornado, though, does stop them for the time being. They don't have Dust. Only their supports have it. It looks like they should be able to disengage, but it's 2 supports for 2 cores, favoring Tim. Tim, despite some serious throws just 5 minutes ago, starting to bring it back a little bit, starting to get their advantage. Slark, though, is fat enough that he is a bit of a threat, likely to go for a BKB next. Yep, it's queued up so that that doesn't happen. If he's able to right-click through that whole time, then suddenly that's different. It's just a completely different engagement, as Slark just gets stronger and stronger as he fights his opponents, and now forcing that buyback, that's all that they need. They can be happy with that, and with 4v2, they should back off, hopefully learning from their previous mistake. Kruger and Young should bail, and Roshan is alive, something that they should definitely consider doing, but without Ravage, probably not at this exact moment. Just once they get the Ravage up, I think they should go for the Rosh. Sunstrike scouting them out. Kruger gets spotted. They might want to back off. Slark will have his Shadow Dance, so likely to go try to defend that. No BKB on him, but also no Ravage for the Dire. Tim, without that Ravage, don't have a ton of team fight control. They have a lot of individual control. Chaos Knight, DK, Witch Doctor sort of, the Silence and the Void. So a lot of good stuff coming out from them, but the Ravage is really their big piece. It's the icing on the cake for them, or really it's the cake. Everything else is the icing. Spirit now with that spammy Wave of Terror. Jin loves that spell, and I do too. Gaining a lot of information, a lot of armor shred, some decent damage stacking up over time as you spam it out. Glamour Cape popped by the Venge. Might try to place a ward. Looks like that's exactly what she's doing. Gets spotted, though. They don't see that Dire ward. And it looks like the Dire may be aware that there's a ward there. Tides Ravage up in just 15 seconds, and now with that, we'll see what happens around the pit. The team fight from both sides is decent, but all of the team fight really comes from the Invoker for Anna's team, for DD. Night Stalker now going for an Aghanim Scepter of his own, jealous of Coddles perhaps. Slark, oh, gets the break onto Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight has BKB, pops the Silver Edge, gets the break onto the Slark now. Slark pops the Shadow Dance and then BKB to purge off the Orchid, and they turn around. Both players committing a lot to one another with the Void. And the DK didn't really commit any of his spells. He might turn on this. They pop the smoke, but it's immediately broken. Anna gets a silence, or Dusk gets a silence onto the Slark. Are they going to continue the pursuit onto him? He does have a Shadow Blade, does get away. They don't get the dust off in time. And the Illuminate Blasts are going to become a little bit frustrating to play against, and this could be their time to go for Roshan. Slark, no Shadow Dance for 30 seconds, and your Tide Ravage is up. But looks like they may want to go for a push instead. With that Tide Ravage, they will get information in the base, eventually, because they have killed that melee racks up at the top. Creeps will shove in. But it's so hard to push up against this Coddle. I think Roshan is just the better choice. With Dragon Form popped, there is Fortification again. Slark lurking around with the Silver Edge, hiding up on the high ground. Might go for this Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight, nope, wants to go for someone else. Sees the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor getting jumped on immediately, but the Ravage catches on to 3 heroes in the back line. And now this looks like it's really bad. Slark might get the Witch Doctor, but his team is dying in the meantime. And he hasn't even killed Witch Doctor yet. They've already lost 3 heroes. Slark actually dying to Kruger as he comes back to try to defend with his team. So that's 3 heroes dead with no buybacks. That could just be the game. The Dragon Form is still up as well. Witch Doctor able to keep himself alive. It looks like Coddle pulled Slark back with his to try to help in that team fight, but perhaps just sealed his fate instead. A nice Ravage from Natiak, just finding them exactly when they need them. Looks like this could just be Megas. In fact, it's at least Megas, if not the game. Reality Rift pulling back, but a nice blind able to keep him back. Able to keep him from hard engaging on that. Oh gosh. They have a Death Ward, didn't use it in that last fight as Witch Doctor was forced far back, and it looks like this is going to be Megas as the creeps get the top one. And they can keep pushing here. I think it's a mistake for them to back off, but it's just going to be GG call. And Tim claimed the series 2-0. Good effort from the DD this game, as they had their lane looked really horrible this game. It went very, very badly for them, but they were able to kind of hold on, get some stuff done. But in the end, Slark, it just wasn't enough. He was too squishy up against these meaty cores on the side of Tim. And DD and his team going to lose this in the, this is just like a group stage situation, so 0-2. So they're not eliminated from the tournament in the Learn Dota 2 League, but definitely not looking too exciting as the blue playoffs are coming up soon-ish, like in the next 3 or 4 weeks, which I guess isn't really soon for a tournament that probably lasts 8 weeks. But really well done from I Don't Think So Tim. Their draft was solid. They executed their game plan well. They played their lanes really, really well and reacted to how Doh Duh played their lane. And because they played it the exact same way in the first game. And they knew this was going to happen, and they just punished them for it. So great job from I Don't Think So Tim. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. If you have any feedback, please let me know. I would love to cast some more games for you and your teams. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And once more, congratulations to I Don't Think So Tim for their 2-0 victory.